Welcome to episode 153 of Gracefully and frankly the international edition. Yo soy Erin Davis.
I'm Lisa Brandt, and welcome. And how are things in Mexico?
They couldn't be any better. We got the girls down here, not without some problems. Dottie and Livy are with Rob and me. We flew here a week ago. Same day as you were traveling, by the way. How did your overnight travels from London, Ontario to Calgary go?
They went fine. I wrote a blog post about it. I shared it to the Gracefully and Frankly page because I finally got the WestJet, the old-timey WestJet experience, but I had to pay for it. I had to be upfront. I don't know about this plane, Erin. I think it was a Wright Brothers original because I don't remember being that cramped in an airplane ever, to the point where the woman ahead of me reclined, like just as you do, and I couldn't reach down to get my bag. I didn't have enough room.
Geez, and that was on the flight down. That wasn't the one you paid for, right?
No. That was on the flight down,
Okay.
just the regular seat. And I thought, well, on the way back, I'm going to get an aisle seat. At least that'll be better. And then I got a chance to go into the auction because they had a premium seat open. I thought, I'll do it, and I won. So I rode home in style on the shorter flight, but I don't care. It was fantastic. And that's where you get the singing WestJet, flight attendants, and all the fun. It's all up front.
Oh, that's what goes on ahead of the curtain. Okay, now tell me, because I've never done this, how do you bid on a seat? How does that happen? Like, when do they let you know there's a seat up for grabs? Is there a minimum bid? And when do you find out? I don't know. How does it work?
Well, it's possible I was the only person who bid. I don't really know. But they sent out a text and said, auction is opening in 5 minutes for a premium seat. And, you know, when you upgrade, I forget how much it is. It's several $100s anyway. And so they say minimum bid is this. And it was about, I think, less than a third of what it would normally be. And so I just thought, heck, I'll bid the minimum. And I've done it before and not won because I've bid the minimum and somebody's come in over me. But I guess nobody did this time. And it was fun to go up to the checking counter and say, may I please have a new boarding pass because I'm no longer in steerage. I'm now up front with the beautiful people and they'll just have to deal with me. So it was a nice way to come home, right in the front seat. It was so roomy and so nice.
Oh, good. The only problem with the first seat is you don't have a place for your stuff. It has to go either under your seat or above you, right?
But you have Jeannie, the most congenial flight attendant on earth, saying, don't you get up if you want that bag. I'll get it for you. So it really wasn't a problem at all.
Well, most of all, I'm glad you had fun with your family and your cousin Barbara Ann in Calgary. And you were up late one night. It was like almost 11 o'clock here in Nueva Vallarta. And I'm going, what are you doing up? I thought, what is happening? And you said you guys were looking at pictures of Poland.
We went to Strathmore for a family evening with one of my cousin's daughters and the whole bunch of us there. It was fantastic. And then we started down the rabbit hole on YouTube looking at Poland because we're planning to go, although there's been some news out lately, Russia and Ukraine being like right there. But anyway, we'll see. But we were following these people showing us different cities and stuff and just getting kind of excited about going.
What month are you looking at again?
April, second half of April.
Great. Well, I'll be back in British Columbia by then. We're here until March 19th. Rob is coming down. I've had a couple of people, Lisa, interestingly comment on my Facebook page, like, do I understand Rob's not there with you? Or why isn't Rob staying? And because I'm open about my life and basically nothing is off topic, I'll explain why. But I'm sure there are people who think, and I said this to Rob this morning, I said, this is not a dress rehearsal for widowhood. I'm not down here seeing what I'm going to do if or when you leave before me. And he said, I hadn't thought of that, but if it is, good. It just shows me you're going to be able to go on and do things. So the whole reason for being down here for 4 months is, the Victoria area is kind of yucky in the winter. It's not snow, but it's rain and it's gray and it's depressing as hell. And, why not? So we were able to bring the dogs down, which was a big concern. And last week it almost all fell apart because this trip has just been one thing after another.
Right. So you do have them both, though, because I was keeping up with the minute by minute breaking news as to who was going, who wasn't going. I'm getting a refund. No, I'm not. And well, you have special dogs, though. That's the thing, right? You have a special deal with your dogs. Anyway, explain, will you?
I do, and, to be clear, I didn't post all that stuff on social. I was just inundating Lisa with it all.
Yes. It's interesting, though.
Breaking news, breaking friends. Well, what happened is because Dottie and Livy are in a breeding program, it's part of the deal. It's how we met Livy. She was in the maternity ward with Dottie when Dottie had her first and only litter. We are owned by the breeder, basically. We bought Dottie, but we signed a contract saying she'll go back for 2 or 3 and litters, that is. And her breeder is above board, wins tons of awards. It's not some kind of a place that you imagine when you hear of dog breeders that aren't, above board. But the
Right.
thing is, she couldn't decide if Dottie should stay for the winter because Dottie's next breeding cycle would be end of March, early April. So it
Mm.
was a bit of a conundrum. And then she was asking for certain vaccines that you can only get with a whole bunch of notice. Monday last week was just a nightmare. And finally, she said, "No, Dottie's gonna stay with me for the winter." Okay, get in touch with WestJet, cancel that space under the seat for a dog to go down and back, and then while I'm on this long-ass call with WestJet, well, first I got disconnected because I was checking my receipt and then have to start all over. Everybody's been through that, and then she messages me and says, "No, you better take her for the winter," and at this point, I'd already canceled. It was just back and forth, and it was a lot of headaches, but at the end of the day, as I sit here on a couch, these 2 little dogs are curled up on the couch and they're happy as little clams. So everything is working out great. My host here, who I found through Airbnb, could not be better. I mean, Lisa, she picked us up at the airport after waiting for an hour, 2 hours because it took us so long to get out. And then earlier this week, she took us grocery shopping from 11:30 a.m. till 3 p.m. And it was just, oh, it was astounding to have someone with a car to show us the area and to go
Ah.
walk along the Bridge of Kisses in Bucerias and, just do touristy things from someone who actually grew up here. And it's just amazing. You're going to love it. And I can't wait till you come.
Neither can I. It's gonna be so much fun. That's so great. So she's staying somewhere nearby then? She's not that far?
Yeah, she's here for a few more days, then she goes back to her home in the LA area. And so in the meantime, she's been making us feel very much at home. And we in turn have been really encouraging her to feel like we're going to take care of her place as though it's ours. And we really are.
Yes. Oh, yes, you are. You're the you are going for best guest ever. I mean, we know this. When they hold that pageant, you're gonna be Miss Congeniality and everything else, and someone's gonna sing to you and hand you roses, so
It might even be the swimsuit competition. Did you see? You must have just gone, what have you done when I posted a short video last week of me getting out of the pool in a bikini?
it was well, I mean, you look fantastic. It's just not something I'm used to seeing from you. I was a
I
little like,
know.
"Okay, that's not usual," but whatever.
I did it. I did it. And I sure hope you noticed that hat because that damn sun hat cost me so much time and effort and stress on our trip down here.
Oh, you had to run back and get it or something?
There were so many things could have gone wrong last week on our travel day, and I was really worried about it, as you know. I mean, travel is stressful to begin with, but add 2 dogs into the mix and international
Yeah.
travel and a different language and the whole thing. People know this is what happens, and a lot of people shy away from it for that reason.
Mhm.
But yeah, we get down to the cab, wonderful taxis there for 6 a.m., and then we're loading stuff into the car, and I said, "My hat." So I ran back up to the condo. There it was, hanging on the closet door, just where I'd left it, so I wouldn't forget it. Grabbed my big sun hat that couldn't go in the suitcase because it's new and it would have been crushed. Okay. So I'm wearing it through part of the airport, looking like an idiot, and then carrying it onto the plane. Rob puts it up above with the rolling hand luggage. And sometime during the flight, remember, they warn you your luggage may shift. Well, it did.
Yes.
The hat got lost. And Rob didn't even think to look for it when we were loading off the plane. I'm carrying the dog carriers, he's got the luggage. It's a lot. So we get all the way down the long walkway. We're nearing customs. And I said, "Where's my hat?" So, like a fish swimming upstream, he had to go back onto the plane. We were so early off the plane. We weren't at the front of the plane, but we were, in the first 8 rows. He had to go all the way back, get my hat. So then we're behind our airline worth of people and another one that had come in the ensuing time. So it took like hour and a half to get through customs. So I got my damn hat. And the hat is going to get used, and I've promised it to you. I bequeath my crown to you while you are here, Miss Lisa.
Aaron, Rob is just the best. It's like there's no question. I'm going back for your hat. That's wonderful.
Did he maybe not notice it when he was getting the bag out of the overhead?
Maybe, but it's not the kind of you usually carry with you. Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you ever get that feeling? I don't know. Have you ever fainted?
I felt like I was going to. I don't know that I ever actually have.
What's it feel like?
Oh, I don't know. Just like you're falling asleep really fast. That's what I remember.
Okay. Because with me, and this has only happened once before, and again, it was like the first full day in a hot place on vacation, so probably not hydrated, no hat, and hadn't eaten anything, and a lot of walking. Yep, great combination, so smart. And we went into this little local area, very much local. I had someone say, "Oh, if you stay there, you're not getting the real Mexico." Well, yeah, we really are because we're struggling to speak our Spanish. We're walking the cobblestone roads. We're seeing all the stray dogs, like your brother's dog, Nacho.
Yeah.
And we're just really experiencing it. But I was in one store and I had to kind of grab onto a shelf because remember when your black and white TV used to go to static?
Yes.
That's what it looked like,
Oh,
and then my stomach started to turn, and I thought, "I'm gonna lose everything in here. If I don't fall down, something naturally bad is gonna happen." So I made my way out of the little store, sat down on the dusty curb because there wasn't a seat or anything, and I said to Rob, "I'm gonna need you to get me some water." So he went in with my wallet and bought me a water, and I sat there and sipped, and I was okay, but right away, I realized it was my fault, my mistake, and it's not a walk around the block in Sydney. This is a whole different kind of punishing set of circumstances that you have to prepare for.
right. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you didn't go ass over tea kettle. You could have hit your head. Anything could have happened.
I know, and I would have ended up buying something extremely expensive and extremely stupid, which I know it's early in the show, Lisa, but I think we can't hold off on this anymore. It's time for This Week in Totally Stupid or
Twits. All right, let us have it.
Oh my God. So, can I be the twit this week, even though Keith Urban played at Mar-a-Lago? Can I be the twit this week?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, in preparation for the trip, I decided I wanted to buy a few things for my particular set of dietary choices, which are keto. And, keto bread is not easy to come by. Costco in Canada sells it. Costco also sells keto tortillas, which of course they don't have here in Mexico because I think you'd be driven out of the country for not buying real tortillas in
Right.
Mexico. Yeah. So I thought, okay, I'll buy a loaf of bread on Amazon, have it delivered to the house, and then I'll have keto bread when I want it. Oh, there's one. Okay, so I go to amazon.com.mx and click on translate. All right, this is good. 485 pesos. All right, I'm doing the math. That works out. I think it's going to be fine, $4.85 or so for a loaf of bread. And I click, and along with some coffee and stuff that we wanted to have at the house, I ordered it.
Mm,
Well,
mm.
okay. About 3 days after we get here, my bread arrives. And oh, it's 2 loaves. Now they're little wee loaves. They're cute as a button and about the size of, a sun-made raisin toast kind of a loaf of bread you'd get at home,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
2 loaves. That's great. What wasn't great was my Mexican math. It wasn't $4.85. It was about 48 minus 25%, so just about $40 for 2 loaves of bread.
Oh my goodness. So what's a
Yeah.
peso worth?
Okay, let's do this in hundreds. 1,000 pesos, you
Right.
divide it by 10, $100, and then take off a quarter. So about $75. $75 Canadian is about 1,000 pesos.
Okay.
It's pretty easy math if you stop to do it and you're not shopping late at night and all stressed out about the house sale and everything else. Oh my God. And it was Rob who noticed it because of course he did. It's his Prime account.
Oh,
He promised never to mention it again, but, it's like that dress that we bought when you and I were shopping together, and it was the dress of a lifetime, and
right.
I told everybody this dress was $39 and I love it. If you don't mention the most ridiculous purchases you ever made by accident, you don't get to brag about the best ones you made on purpose.
Makes sense. That's only fair. It's like, you can't take the compliments unless you also take the criticism, right? So there you go. I bet that bread tastes amazing.
Well, I've only had 2 slices. You see, I'm meeting it out as though I'm on a desert island and there's nothing left, and it's, like, the only tree that has breadfruit, and it's keto breadfruit, and, I may make croutons out of 1 slice and have it over 14 salads. I don't know, Lisa.
Goodness.
Aha. So I'm the twit. I get to be the twit. Part of the expense with things like keto and gluten is the stuff they take out. And honestly, on a logical level, it doesn't make sense. It's like buying a de-alcoholized beer and paying for the same as if it had the alcohol. It's like, wait, you took the fun out. Why is this the same price?
More, much more in many cases.
Right, like gluten-free items. I'm not gluten-free, but we sure know a lot of people who are.
Well, I've been eating gluten-free for quite a while because I identified gluten, just self-identified, as being the reason I would always get bloated. And so I stopped eating stuff with gluten in it, basically no white bread, no white rice, no white pasta. And it seemed to be working for me. And then, of course, keto comes along, and I love the low-carb lifestyle too, but that's not always gluten-free, right? So there's some new information about gluten and about how many people are avoiding gluten. New studies are showing that if you expect gluten to bother you, basically, it will, and that a lot of us have gone gluten-free unnecessarily, and I think I might be one of them. There are people, of course, we're not talking about anybody with celiac disease. Our friends Patricia and Lee, who are absolutely adamant, and I believe them, that they feel so much better being off it for their particular health issues. And so just regular people like me who thought we felt a lot better. I've been actually adding some gluten products back into my diet, and I don't feel terrible about them. So because of the cost, it's almost worth it if you think you might be like this, where you don't really have a gluten sensitivity or a super gluten sensitivity, and you can start by adding little bits of it back into your diet. Now, once again, we're not doctors, and if you think gluten bothers you, maybe it's best to get tested for celiac and all that kind of stuff, We're talking about a narrow band of people here, not everybody who's avoiding gluten. But it's kind of fascinating that if you think it's going to bother you, it kind of does. And do you remember on Better Call Saul?
Okay.
When Saul's brother, the lawyer,
Oh, yeah, 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 played by Michael McKean. He was so good.
so good, and he was convinced that, and we're not saying gluten-sensitive people are kooky, because I'm certainly not, not in this way anyway, but he was convinced that electronic waves or whatever were bothering him, cell phones couldn't come in the house, all that kind of thing. And his brother conducted an experiment when he wasn't paying attention and held a phone near him,
Mhm.
and nothing happened, right?
Right.
So it can be a little mind over matter in a way.
Mhm.
I don't know, what do you think?
I'm really glad that you made the clarification that we're not talking about people who have actual gluten sensitivity and reactions
Oh,
to
yeah,
it.
no.
It's just
Yeah.
sometimes our minds are so powerful that if we say, well, that's not going to agree with me, or I can't eat that, that your body may well agree. But of course, as you say, gluten free is so cost prohibitive in so many cases and difficult to get and that sort of thing. If you can ease a bit back into your system or the good stuff, if you can stick with Italian wherever you can find it or whatever. Again, I don't know what I'm talking about here, but you do from this study that was released. And Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, only insofar as I've had the experience of cutting it out of my life, and I still think I don't like white food. Am
Mm,
I a food racist?
I think you are.
I don't like white pasta, white rice, white bread, any of that stuff. To me, I look at it and I just see sugar, just for me.
Yeah, and there's the processing that goes on too. They're finding so many
Yes.
more young people are having colon cancers because so many people eat processed foods. I'm guilty of that.
They told us before we went to Italy, by the way, did I ever tell you we went to Italy?
You haven't
Um,
this week.
they told us that bread and pasta wouldn't bother us there because they don't allow GMO, they don't allow all sorts of things. It's not overly processed. And it was actually the case. I never felt bad once eating bread or pasta when I was there. Just milled differently and not overly processed. And everything isn't white either. It's rustic and a little bit tan
Mhm.
almost, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. No, I can't disagree. And they told us that the wine wouldn't give us hangovers either, even the red, because it didn't have all the preservatives in it. Those were the before days.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I never got to try the wine, unfortunately. You know, when I was in Italy.
Well,
Anyway.
I'm so glad you reminded us. On your recent glamorous trip to Western Canada, I know you took your envy pillow, but what's the latest with them? They've got something big going on right now.
Yes, I did take my envy pillow, and I'm always so glad that I did because it makes so much of a difference. It makes me feel like I'm at home no matter where I am. They have a Black Friday bedroom event going on, and it's kind of going crazy. Everything is flying off the shelves, they say. So everything, pillows, pillowcases, sheeps.
Really? You don't say. I'm leaving that in.
We did say they're all natural, right?
Absolutely. They're
Pillows,
for counting sheep.
pillowcases,
Okay.
sheets, and sleep masks. Buy 2, get 15% off. Buy 3, get 25% off. So you can do some Christmas shopping or buy for yourself or whatever it is you like from their from their full sleep sanctuary line. No sheeps. You have to get your sheep somewhere else, but visit their website nvpillow.com and see why we sleep with the best.
That's right. Counting sheep with envy
That's right.
pillow. Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Now, I know you were away, but all across Canada, in one of your former hometowns, there was a guy who made news, like internationally, because it so resembled an episode of Seinfeld. Ah, do you want to tell the story of this bus driver?
Sure. He's a 36-year-old man. What happened was the bus driver of the Hamilton HSR, their transit, pulled over, and often they do this and they'll leave the bus running and run in and get a coffee or something and then come back out. They have a scheduled break. I've been on transit when this has happened, and you wait 5 minutes or whatever and they come back. Well, a guy saw this happen and he hopped in and took off on the bus with passengers on it and went on a joyride. And he not only made stops along the way, a guy tried to get on with an expired pass and he wouldn't let him. So it was like, and there were passengers on board. And I don't know if he was living out a fantasy or what, but he drove it like a real bus driver. And then they finally got him pulled over and arrested him and took him off to the pokey. But pretty
Yeah.
funny that
Oh,
nobody got hurt. He
yeah.
drove safely. It could have gone sideways, but it went well.
Yeah, it really did. I have so many questions, and I asked Rob this. I don't know if you talked to Derek about it, but would you know how to drive a bus just as someone who knows how to drive a motor vehicle?
Well, it's funny because when we were at a trade show for the trades a few years ago, they had a full bus there from London Transit, and you could get in and do a simulated drive. And if you can drive stick, and if you know enough to know when you need to sort of swing out to make a turn properly, that could be the tricky part.
Yeah.
Then you could probably do it. I know I could do it if I had to. It wouldn't be that big of a deal, but I've driven crew cabs and longer vehicles, never really trucks that much, but I think I could do it.
What's a crew cab, and why don't I know this?
A crew cab is an elongated pickup truck. That's actually what I took my driver's test in. My dad's company had big trucks, little trucks, all sorts of trucks. So they're extra long, and they were much longer back in the day. And that's what I parallel parked in and took my driver's test in. And
Wow.
his company colors were orange and black, so this thing was orange. So you know that I was seen by the great unwashed as I was trying to parallel park, but I did it.
Wow. Well, this whole bus
Yeah.
story, part of the reason that this unhoused gentleman who took over the bus, part of the reason it made headlines everywhere is because it mirrored an episode of Seinfeld, which I'm sure you remember.
Yes, yes.
It was season 5. The episode's called The Fire. And with a little bit of background, this woman is running for the bus. She loses her pinky toe. Kramer finds the toe, wants to get it to the hospital, and the bus driver has passed out. Kramer takes control, and we'll let you hear this little clip from Seinfeld.
Now I'm driving the bus. Then the mugger, he comes to and he starts choking me. So I'm fighting him off with one hand and I kept driving the bus with the other, you know? Then I managed to open up the door and I kicked him out the door, you know, with my foot, you know, at the next stop.
You kept making all the stops?
Well, people kept ringing the bell.
Yes, he kept making the stops, and that was
Yeah, and the way Jerry's voice goes too. You kept making all the stuff, and that's what this guy did. So maybe it was his fantasy. Who knows?
who knows? Oh. Hey, speaking of TV alert! Netflix today is dropping the 2nd season of the delightful Ted Danson show, Man on the Inside. That's going to be so great.
Yes, really looking forward to that. And another recommendation I have for you is, if you don't mind some swearing, is the Eddie Murphy documentary.
Oh, I saw that.
Yes, it's so good.
Yeah, it really was. Can't remember if I came away from it feeling like I got more insight into him. I had to go online to find out later what happened to his beloved brother, Charles.
Yes, I did too.
Yeah, died of leukemia. Eddie keeps things very, very, very close to the vest. He's so intensely private.
Yeah, I did get some things from it. I just really came away respecting him even more, not just for his talent, but for his thoughtfulness and his calmness and his willingness to take care of 10 children and all those things.
Right. And the funerals he paid for comedians
Yeah.
like Red Fox, who didn't
Yeah.
have a pot because of IRS problems and not paying taxes. And the whole anecdote about James Brown telling him, bury your money in the yard. Oh, how did that work for you, James?
It's so funny. He tells a good story. He really does.
Does he ever? Yeah, that is a very good one, too. And we've got some more recommendations for you next week because, of course, our time down here has been a lot of Netflix. Some more great watches for you next week on episode 154. But hey, something else we have to recommend is Sierra Still is having a big sale right now to round out this month of November. Starting today, November 20th until December 1st, they are doing a buy two, get one free promo. And you can add 3 items to your cart, and the item with the lowest value is automatically free at checkout. Isn't that
Ooh,
great? Yeah, that
that's
is great.
fantastic.
And
Yeah.
with the promise that you'll feel a difference in 14 days, those knees could be working really well for bending down around the Christmas tree or getting back up on the ladder for taking down the lights when the time comes. The discount of 14% you usually get for GF, no, this supersedes that discount. But look, it's like buy 2, get the 3rd free. And here's where you find out more.
At their website, Sierra, like the mountains, SIL.com. Just check it out, see the different products, and find one that's right for you.
Yay! So you took your cousin Barbara and some of our G&F stuff too, eh?
I did. Well, she showed up wearing the T-shirt.
The Queenagers t-shirt.
Yes, she bought a Queenagers t-shirt some time ago, and she was wearing it at the airport, so that was really the pièce de résistance.
I guess so. Although in Calgary, of course, they call it the piece of resistance, but
That's right.
Calgary gonna
Yeah.
Calgary, yeah. Um,
Lots of protests going on, too, in Calgary. There's a lot
oh,
of that
yeah.
going on.
Yeah, against Danielle Smith. Hey, and if they show up on CBC News wearing a Queenagers t-shirt, that's even better. But we also got a picture from big-time Queenager Carol Clark wearing her Queenager t-shirt and a GNF heart pendant to the Jan Arden concert in Belleville. So thank you,
Yes.
Carol, for representing. That was just fantastic, and so was the show, she says.
Really appreciate it. Oh, I can't imagine it would be anything but wonderful.
Yeah, I bet Jan fills her shows with stories of her love in Iceland, and boy, that is a long distance commute. I know you're in love with a maitre d' in Italy, but oh, I mentioned Italy again. Darn me.
Ugh. Was I in Italy? Oh, that's right, I was.
In fact,
Yeah.
he shows up kind of in one of your books, but I'm not going to say any more than that. He's sort of a character, and you're just going to have to read the Felicity and Mitzi series. That is available on gracefullyandfrankly.com, along with our t-shirts and our pendants and everything else that you might want for stocking stuffers or just that queenager on your list.
Well, my dear, I hope you enjoy your sun hat and your sunshine. And in a couple of months, I'm going to be there to soak some up with you.
I know, it's no Italy, but Italy do.
Hey, Derek was going to Italy, so I went too. And you're in Mexico, so I'm going there. I go where my people are. Yeah.
And the dogs. So thanks so much for joining us this week for episode 153. We love and appreciate you, and we'll talk to you here next week.
We will.